as well. Jason, you're the play-by-play voice of Sac State football. You were incredibly connected to that team and that program. And yesterday, Sac State applied for FBS status.
Correct.
As opposed to where they are currently FCS status. What does that mean?
Well, the biggest difference, and when most people watch college football on the weekend, like watching Alabama or Penn State or Florida State, UCLA, USC, Oregon, all those teams are in the FBS. Sac State is a tier below. Davis, Cal Poly, all those teams are in the FCS.
So right now they're playing is this too sloppy of an analogy? Right now they are in the AAA of college football, and the major leagues are FBS.
Sure.
I know that's a loose analogy.
Kind of equivalent. And now they get usually a chance every year, once or twice, to play up. And
yes.
That's why when they beat a team like Stanford, like they did a couple years ago, or years in the past, Colorado, Oregon, those are special. They don't happen very often. If you could do it, it's pretty great.
This is a top 20 media market. We know that. Aggressive in hiring coaches. Sac State has been under Dr. Luke Wood and the athletic department. Brennan Marion came over from UNLV, their offensive coordinator, who was highly recruited by FBS schools. Mike Bibby now the basketball head coach. There are plans in place for a stadium, along with, according to Sac State funding. They are planning to play football in the Big Sky Conference for the following season. That is expected to be the last in the FCS conference. If everything is approved, and they need a waiver to do this, generally you need an invite from a conference. Right. They're looking for a waiver. It's expected they'll get the waiver. And if that is approved, the Hornets will be ineligible for the football postseason for 25 and 26. They would then be football postseason eligible for the 2027 season. That's a little goofy. You're making the jump from the FCS to FBS. When you talk about the postseason, you're talking about bowl games and or the playoffs, which you'd be playing with the Alabamas and the Notre Dames of the world. I mean, my God, if you can make that jump and I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Right.
I don't think the Hornets are going to be going 12-0. I mean, God bless. I just don't think they're going to be going 12-0 and be shut out. But God, what a horrible story if they were.
Yeah. So, well, I think also part of that is that would be, so if the waiver got approved, and I think you said you think that will, I don't know that will happen.
It's not a guarantee, but I did ask around yesterday, and the prevailing thought was they would not have gone public and requested the waiver if they did not already have some winks and nods that it would get approved, because that would be a little embarrassing.
Yeah, I think a couple things are at play here. Look, obviously, we've talked to Josh Wood, Luke Wood's brother, who's the president of Sac State. Both are very ambitious. I like that. They're visionaries. That's great. There's some dreaming there. That's important.
Yep.
There's no secret they would like to move up. They have been very vocal about the Pac-12, maybe the Mountain West. I had said back then, you need an invite. Right. Obviously, the invite hasn't happened yet. Doesn't mean it can't still. And maybe even saying very publicly, we would like to go independent then, which I think right now it's Notre Dame. There's one other school. It's not a big pool of people that are independent. So there's some questions that would have to be answered there. But maybe you're also saying, hey, Mountain West, hey, Pac-12, they're willing to do this without you.
Right.
So there's that. There's obviously been a significant draw to the hiring of Mike Bibby and attention, and same with Coach Marion, with the hopes and dreams of building a stadium. Like, there's things happening. They've got some goals here. So they're trying to push this along, and if other leagues aren't involved, then they can do it. They believe they can do it themselves. That's going to be interesting, though, if they choose that road, because then it also then shoots off to, I'm guessing, the Big Sky, who they're currently in for football and other sports, will be like, well, okay, kick rocks.
Right.
That would be my assumption. I don't know that for sure. And then you probably have to have other answers for your basketball, baseball, gymnastics, volleyball.
And there is a precedent. You mentioned Notre Dame. So Notre Dame is an independent in football, but they compete in the ACC for their other smaller sports, if you will. I would imagine it'd be something similar. And there's a history there. Florida State came in. They were in the Metro Conference back in the 80s. They came in as an independent and then eventually joined in with the ACC. That's been a road a lot of schools have followed.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times there's maybe a pecking order. It's like the stadium is built. They've had a ton of success at this level. It makes too much sense. We've reached the mark. We've got to go on.
Yeah.
James Madison moved a few years ago and right away became very good at the FBS level.
Sure.
But, way back to the very beginning when some of this stuff was even talked about, the thing that Sacramento State still has in their favor that I don't know how they can utilize it, but I think they would like to, is the media market.
Yeah.
That's the biggest benefit they have. Now, I say that's the best thing they've got in their corner, but they got a president that wants to be aggressive. They've hired aggressively. I'm seeing billboards all over the community, which is amazing. So they're putting some, dollars behind it, but it's a big jump if it does happen. I mean, I think it would be great, but there'll still be some, hurdles that they have to clear and some things that will probably go against them along the way, but that's part of it.
Let me ask you about media market, because this is the number one thing you hear is the media market's going to help them. And there's 900 obvious reasons why that's the case. I'm looking at last year's NCAA football rankings. Okay. Number 1 is Columbus. Number 2 is South Bend. Number 3, Oregon, I think Cornwallis or isn't Oregon not Cornwall, Corvallis? It's Cornwallis.
Cornwallis.
Yeah, that's he surrendered to George Washington. Yeah. Number
that's
4,
Eugene.
Is it Eugene?
Yeah.
Okay. Is Oregon State Corvallis? Yeah. Okay.
Or Cornwallis.
Yes, that too. Number 4 is Austin. That's Texas. Number 5. I know this. Hold on. Don't tell me. Penn State. Oh, don't tell me. It's Happy Valley. It's College Station. No, that's Texas A&M. Crap. What is it?
Wasn't it Happy Valley?
But that's not the. That's isn't there a?
It's something station.
It's not. Isn't College Station A&M?
Yeah, Cornwallis Station.
Cornwallis. Okay. Georgia is Athens. Arizona State, Phoenix, Tempe. Sorry. Yeah.
So you're asking market.
I'm saying a lot. Tuscaloosa, Alabama, like a lot of these huge schools. Tallahassee, Florida. Yeah. They're smaller markets.
Yeah,
but
Sacramento. They've got CBS. They've got. So what it would be is, let's just go to the Pac-12 example. That, it's reshaped Pac-12 that has what now? Fresno State, San Diego State, Boise, Washington State. There we go. We don't have Sacramento. So if they're trying to get a CBS network or a ESPN or whatever,
sure,
it's like, well, we can get you in Sacramento's market because this school, this university will be playing. I think that's the draw. Okay. But if you're independent, though, who
has your rights?
Like, I could picture local TV. Like I do local TV games here, but like that's not the draw you're looking for. So that's another wrinkle that I don't have the answer to that. I don't know.
No, it's always kind of made me wonder. The likely NCAA final this year, if you look at the odds, is going to be Gainesville versus Chapel Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
but that's just a broader.
Yeah, is Duke Chapel Hill?
That's North Carolina.
Hold on, this is actually a fun game. No, hold on. Duke is Raleigh,
Durham.
That's actually kind of a fun game.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you obviously haven't been watching White Lotus this year.
You haven't been watching White Lotus this year.
I have. That's how I knew Durham.
Dang it. So that always messed with me.
Yeah.
It always messed with me. Obviously, media market's important, and access to the media market's important. It's just always been fascinating to me that how many colleges, generally, like USC and UCLA, obviously huge exceptions.
Right.
But what Chicago? Is that Notre Dame?
Yeah, I guess it would be is like, hey, the NBA is in all the markets, but they go, we've got you in LA.
Right.
We've got you in New York. We've got you in Dallas. We've got a team in Miami, like all these big markets. Oh, yeah, we have Sacramento. We've got OKC.
Right.
We've got Minnesota. Nothing wrong with that. But in this case, you're going, I've got a league of 8, 10, 12 teams, but in those 8, like the Big Ten is a monster right now. They're all over the place, but they also have you in Los Angeles with 2 teams.
That's right. And I've said it for a long time, and I'll say it again. For the longest time, it was Sacramento's a baseball town. I will die on this hill. Sacramento is a college town. They are absolutely a college town. They just have, no offense to the programs, they just haven't had that.
Well, what would it look like if this happened?
I'm just telling you right now as we go to break. If Sac State 10, 15 years from now is a top 25 football program, and they're playing,
then you're playing anybody. You could play anybody.
That stadium is packed. This city is on its ear. They're going insane. This city's makeup is built for nationally ranked college football. They just don't tailgating. They just don't know it yet because they haven't had it, but it fits like a puzzle piece. Quick 30-second break here. When we come back, 3 for Madness. And